This program is brought to you by newscliptv.com. Make your own news. Register online and become a Newsclip TV reporter. Newsclip TV, your community news website.
Welcome back to Persistence Pays TV. Last week we talked about the happiness diet, and I hope you're keeping track of things that you consciously do that make you happy. Dancing last week was a blast, and maybe you've turned up the tunes in your living room and you're dancing around your house making yourself happy. Whatever it is that you do to make yourself happy, just make sure you record it and send me all your happy thoughts to persistencepays.ca. Now, I'm going to talk to you today about something else that makes me happy, and that's having a pet. I know many of you have had a pet in the past, or maybe you're wanting to get a pet, and I've got a great friend here today that has a story that you are going to love. Charmaine Hammond is the author, best-selling author on Amazon in Canada and the US, on Toby's Terms. And we're going to meet Toby. Toby's here in the audience with us today, as well as Charmaine. And I met Charmaine out in Edmonton, and she's now doing a book tour, and she's coming through Hamilton right now. And so we're really happy to have her on the show today. So welcome, Charmaine.
Thanks, Lori. It's great to be here.
Now, I just loved your book, and you know, it made me laugh, and it just made me happy to read it. Happy and wondering how you persevered or persisted through Toby's tales.
Yes, exactly.
And so maybe just tell us, I know you adopted Toby at the age of 5.
That's right.
And tell us what happened when you first, I mean, the excitement of getting a pet, you know, bringing him home and expecting just to have a perfect dog, because you had a dog previously that was well behaved, and then you brought Toby home, and just tell us a little bit about what happened.
So Toby's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. He was 5, as you said, when we brought him home. We got him from a rescue agency. We do know that he was loved in his first family. The first 6 months with Toby were blissful. It was amazing. He was a happy dog, always by our side, and I was in love. And then we come home from work. Actually, Chris, my husband, comes home from work one day, about 6 months into having Toby with us, and he can't get in the house. He had to crawl through the dog door, actually, in the kitchen to get in the house. And it was like a whole new side of Toby had appeared.
So why couldn't he get in the house? Tell me what happened.
So what Chris found, he comes in the house, and the first thing he sees when he comes through the dog door is the kitchen. Total disaster. Everything on the counter is knocked off the counter. Furniture moved into the living room.
Oh my goodness.
The living room's a disaster. All the furniture is moved. Cushions on the floor. Toby knocked over the water cooler. And then Chris goes downstairs, and in front of the door is pretty much every article of clothing that we own. Toby had emptied the closets, brought things down from our bedroom closet.
Oh my goodness.
And just kind of created a real disaster. And the whole house was like that.
Oh, so, I mean, how do you react to that? It probably looked like your house got torn upside down by robbers.
It's hilarious you mentioned that, because Chris, when he came in, he thought, oh, something is not right here. And he actually called our neighbor Heather to come over and walk through the house with him, because he actually thought a crime had occurred there. It was that bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, my whole theme is persistence, right?
Yes.
So how do you persist? Here you've got a dog from a shelter. What makes you not just want to take the dog back to the shelter?
Well, you know, in honesty, the thought did cross our minds, and I was in love with Toby, so I was committed to sticking it out with Toby and getting him help, and Chris came on board with me on that.
Yeah, it took a little while from your book. I know Chris had a few issues just trying to, okay, how can this keep happening?
That's
you know?
right.
And you can't even imagine that this lovable dog, look at his little tail wagging, that would ever be so destructive. I can't imagine.
We hear that a lot from people. You know, he broke toilet tank lids. We've gone through 6 of them.
Oh my
We buy them in bulk.
Yeah, who buys their toilet tanks in bulk?
We do. You know, we're probably the only family I know that has to lock up their knife block, because Toby knocked that over and cut his feet. He was fine, thank goodness. But
the blood all the way through your house
all
was
the way through the house. But
wow.
You know, he's resourceful, Lori, because he called we figure he tried to call 911. There was mud and blood on the phone. It looked like he was calling for help. Yeah.
Oh, now you did take him to obedience school, or to a dog training area.
Yeah.
And you had a hope that Toby would work. I love this part, because you know, as a mom, we want the best for our kids, and as a mom, you wanted the best for Toby, and you wanted him to be out in the community helping others.
Yes, and you know, part of getting Toby's behavior under control and getting him on track was actually getting him a job. We had a behaviorist who came over, she assessed him, and she noticed that Toby seemed to have a need to nurture people and take care of them. And we, with her advice, we pursued looking for a pet-assisted therapy dog job. And he wasn't successful the first time. He failed, and I was devastated. I was. I felt like I, you know, hadn't prepared him in some way. But it was his barking that actually caused him, the first time, not to be successful. So we did persist. I pushed through and looked for other organizations. I thought there has to be someone who will see the good in Toby, because he's an amazing dog. He's gentle. Yeah. He's loving. On one hand, he breaks toilet tank lids, but on his other hand, he's a dog who spreads joy, and he's so kind and gentle and loving.
Aww. Now, so tell us where he is working, what he does for the community.
So he volunteers with an organization called CHIMO, Pet Assisted Therapy Project. That's in Edmonton. There's many other similar organizations across Canada. And he's a pet assisted therapy dog. So what his role is he volunteers with the recreational team at Alberta Hospital Edmonton, and that's a mental health facility for adults.
Great.
It's the perfect job for him because he's part of the rec program. So his job is to come in, get people inspired to be active, to sort of create an energy of excitement in the room, to go outside and get patients walking and being more physical. And he's got the energy and the passion to do that.
Well, it's great that you're here right now, because we've been talking on the last couple of shows on how to take care of yourself, how to make yourself happy, you know, and what Toby's doing is he's spreading happiness.
He is. And
when I mean, he lights up the room, and I was fortunate enough to stay with you last year.
That's right.
When I was traveling through Edmonton doing some speaking tours, and Toby was very, I mean, we had a great time. He's an amazing dog. You actually go and hide his toy. You tippy-toe and you hide it in a room, and he just goes after it until he can find it. You can put it up high, you can put it down low, you can put it in the closet, and he finds it. So he's a very smart dog.
He is.
And you've also talked about going into the high schools, and you've seen, what is it, 6,700 students, bringing Toby in and teaching them about active or random acts of kindness.
Yes.
And in my newsletter, I just wrote, I said to Charmaine when we were talking, is that I just wrote an article on random acts of kindness. So
wonderful.
It's interesting how we're in line on what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Now your book on Toby's terms, and where can you buy your book?
It's available on all the online sellers like Amazon and Barnes & Noble in the States. It's available at Chapters and many of the independent bookstores, and also through Toby's website, which is on tobysterms.com.
Perfect. And now tell us actually in your book, there was one part here that I wanted to talk to you about, because I thought it was really interesting on page 120, and you talk about how when Toby, you know, going through not getting into the first job and then getting the second job, you talked about focus, clarity, and spirit, and how Toby motivated you with focus, clarity, and spirit. So can you just talk about that for a second?
You know, he really did become a teacher for us, and he taught many lessons, and these ones around focus, clarity, and spirit. I would watch Toby, and his favorite toy is the Kong. It's this rubber retrieving toy. And I would watch Toby. He would be so focused on this toy. It didn't matter who was in the room, if there was dog treats and other toys. He just kept his eye on that. And I learned that, boy, if I can be like that in my life and in my business and keep my eye on the goal and not be so distracted by what my husband Chris calls BSOs, bright shiny objects.
Yeah, I've been there too. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and what I found is that the more focused I was more committed to my goals. And the more committed I was, the more energy and spirit I had. So I learned about focus, I learned about spirit. Toby is, he's such a passionate dog. He just brings his best version of him to the world every day. And I've started doing that myself and learned that life is a lot easier.
Oh, that's great. Now, you've got some great news. What's happening with Toby's book?
We have awesome news, you're right. It's being turned into a major motion picture.
Oh, that's
I
fabulous.
love being able to say in theaters near you soon. Impact Motion Pictures, which is out of California, is going to be producing the movie, and we're really excited that parts of it are going to be filmed in Canada as well.
Oh, that's really, really great.
Thank
well,
you.
Congratulations and all the best with the movie. Can't wait to see it. I know you'll let me know when it's coming out. And thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Lori.
Toby, Hey, Toby.
Toby.
You can't imagine that this dog was destructive. Toby, come here.
He's so
Come here,
big.
Toby.
Come see
Come
Lori.
here. Come here. There you go. You're a good dog, aren't you, Toby?
He is.
Say thank you for being here, Toby. Until next time, we'll see you later. So many of our guests have such great potential, and I'm all about the power of intention. And I just have this feeling that Toby's going to end up on the red carpet, something to the effect of getting an Oscar. So Toby, I'm giving you a big energy whoosh that you are going to end up, stand up, Toby. You're going to end up getting an Oscar because you're awesome. Good job, Toby.